26. Now he had to go through Samaria, so he had came to a town in Samaria called Sychar, near the plot of ground Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well. It was about the 6th hour. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" His disciple had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" For Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his flocks and herds?" Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give him will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." He told her, "Go call your husband and come back." "I have no husband," she replied. Jesus said to her, "You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true." "Sir," the woman said, "I can see that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem." Jesus declared, "Believe in me, woman. A time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews. Yet a time is coming, and has now come, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For they are the kind of worshippers the Father seeks. God is spirit, and his worshipper must worship in spirit and in truth." The woman said, "I know that Messiah, called Christ, is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us." Then Jesus declared, "I who speak to you am he." Maybe I should read more, but it's too long and you might be getting sleepy, so I won't read. And I think you know the story. This story is very simple, but it's so complicated. If you want to understand the story's meaning fully, it takes maybe at least a day or more. Explain this word, this custom, this people, all kinds of things. But I don't explain everything to you this afternoon, fortunately for you. But I want you to know only one thing. Jesus is a living water for your spirit. That's the truth. This woman, she's a Samaritan, and she came to the well to draw water at 6 hour. 6 hour means about noon today. Basically, a woman went to well at that time in the morning because they need the water the whole day. But she could not go to the well in the morning because all the neighbors came to the well, and she did not want to show herself to the neighbors because her life is disaster. You know. She got married 5 times, and she lives a guy without married. So if she gets the neighbors, she might be scolded, or she might be getting some bad words. So she did not want to meet anybody. So she went to the well in noon. Fortunately, or unfortunately, she met a person. She went to the well in the noontime because she did not want to see anybody. But she met the guy. And he sat down close to the well where she wanted to get the water. And he looks like a Jew. Maybe she was kind of like intimidated to getting the water. Maybe she thought, went back to the house, and come back again. And she was thinking kind of thing. But at the time, the guy said, "Hey, will you give me a drink? Will you give me a drink?" Maybe she looks, it's difficult to explain, but she looks not the normal woman, a typical housewife. Maybe she looks like somebody around in drinking area or, kind of like, and also the Bible, as the Bible said, in that time the Jews did not associate with Samaritans, which means Jews never talk to Samaritans. They don't communicate. They don't talk to each other. But Jesus talked to her without any hesitation. So she was shocked. Wow, who is this guy? And so she replied to him, "You are a Jew," verse 9, "and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" Never happened. But Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for drink, you will have asked him and he would have given you living water." Too long to me. She asked Jesus, "You are a Jew and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" It's out of law for Jews, for Samaritans too. But Jesus said, if you knew me who I am, you will ask me she did not know him, actually. So she asked him again, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? You don't have anything to draw the water, so how can you get the drink?" Jesus said, "If you knew me, who I am, and he, because me, would give you a living water." Jesus asked her first, but after Samaritan woman asked back him, he said, "I am the one who gives you a living water." Wow, it doesn't make sense. You said, he asked me, you said, Jesus said, asked her, "Can I have a drink?" And she said, "I'm a Samaritan, you're Jews, and it's not good to give you water to you." But Jesus said, No. If you knew me, I'm the guy who will give you a living water." Doesn't make sense. Understand? Too difficult for you? Yeah, I think you know, understand. So she asked back, "What, sir? Are you okay? You said you give me a water, but how can you get the water? This well is so deep, you don't have nothing with your hand. Are you okay?" And Jesus said, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give him will never thirst." Wow, another question. Everyone who drinks this water means the Jacob's well will thirst. But the water I give, whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give him or her will become in him a spring of water. Wow! Welling up to the eternal life. Wow, what's the story? Just start with a small cup of water, and now the well and the heart and getting eternal life. Wow. And she said, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." Jesus wants to explain that he is the water, but this is not the material water, you understand. He wants to explain something spiritual. But she still thinks about material water. And the key word is living water. Please keep in your mind. Living water means the water you can drink in Greek said. The same word. But the living water Jesus used is the life of water, the water of life. The water, the Samaritan woman wants to have the water you can drink, but the water Jesus introducing is the water of life. It's the same word. Jesus said, "I want to give you the water. This is the water for your spirit, for your life, for your eternal life. This is the living water." But the woman said, wants to have the living water. This is not the spoiled. The water is put in it's getting spoiled. You cannot drink. There's warm kind of thing. But so the two persons, Samaritan woman and Jesus, have the conversation, but don't get point each other. You know. She wants to have the water because she does not want to come to the well in the noontime. She doesn't want to see anybody. So if you said, okay, I'll give you the living water, she said, okay, good. If I got the living water from you and I won't never thirst, I do not have to keep coming this water. Well, good. But Jesus said, no. So finally, Jesus said another command to her. Go call your husband and come back. Ooh. And she said, I have no husband. Jesus said, you're right. And blah, blah, blah. And Jesus explained her situation with her spiritual eyes. He could see her life. Or she asked somebody before, or I don't know. But so woman said, sir, I can see that you are a prophet. Now the conversation getting closer. Now you're the prophet. And Jesus explained, believe me, woman, a time to coming when you will worship me, and the worship story start again. The different story. And finally, I make the long story short. She understood that the guy in front of her, Jesus, is the Messiah, and he gives her a living water which makes her spirit living. The water, not material water, but spiritual water, can give is from Jesus, and she finally understood why she was so thirsty. She thought her thirstiness is from her life. But during the conversation with Jesus, finally she understood, she realized that her thirstiness comes from not her material body, physical body, but from his spiritual part. Finally, he understood her spirit is thirsty. So Jesus trying to make her understand what is thirsty in her self. So let's go down to verse 39. Many of the Samaritans from that town believed in him because of the woman's testimony. He told me everything I ever did. So when the Samaritan came to him, they urged him to stay with them. And he stayed 2 days. And because of his word, many more became believers. This lady, this woman, she did not want to meet anybody. But after the conversation with Jesus, she went to the town and explained what happened on her during the conversation with Jesus. So what's the difference between before met Jesus and after met Jesus? She can show herself to the people. Why? Her spirit, her thirsty spirit got the living water. And now, as Jesus talked to her, the water she took from Jesus became the well in herself to make the thirsty people another watered people, you know. It's not a good explanation, but you understand, you know. So the point is, we get thirsty physically, sometimes mentally. Our heart gets thirsty, but important part is spirit. And your spirit needs the water too, you know. You're always looking for the water in the town, Coke or some water or tea for your physical part. You need the water for your heart, like the words from your friend or your family, some communication, fellowship. Your heart gets the water from the words or hugs. No. But your spirit are thirsty too. And who can give you a word or water on your spirit? Your friend? Family? Vending machine? No. Only Jesus, the true Messiah, could give you the water in your spirit. And once your spirit got the living water, that's getting changed into the well, which means the water from Jesus is not just you. It's going up and up and up and going to your neighbors, into your neighbor's spirit. That's the wonderful part. That's the beautiful part. But like this woman, it's so hard to realize that our spirit got thirsty. Sometimes we got stuck our life, you know, a lot of problems with our family or friends, you know. We are not doing good at the work, or we have a problem with finance, jobs. We feel thirsty in our heart, you know, physically or mentally. But that is not the true thirsty. The true thirsty comes from your spirit. So don't ask water for your physical body or your mental body, but ask water God to your spirit first. Then the water comes up from your spirit into your heart, your body, and your neighbor, and your environment. If you got the water from outside, you will thirsty again, like Jesus said. You need more water. If you ask water to your friend, you need more water for your friend. If you're looking for the water from your books, you got to read more books. But if you got the water from Jesus, true Messiah, you'll never thirsty again. And besides, the water welling up to eternal life. Great. That's wonderful. So please pray for Jesus' water first, okay? Don't put the list, Jesus, on the bottom of your list. Maybe you do this first and next to this, and finally, Jesus. That's wrong. That's waste your time. Just goes to Jesus. The first verse 4 says, now he had to go through Samaria. Why he had to go through Samaria? The Jews never go through Samaria, even though they are so rushed. They want the emergency situation. They hate to meet the Samaritan people. But Jesus had to go through Samaria. Why? Because he had to meet the woman. Jesus come to you. Jesus had to see you, had to meet you, because he wants to give you a water into your spirit, so welling up to eternal life. Pray. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this. Thank you that Jesus